butcher shop in the 1940s would know everybody down that street and everybody down that street and who was having an affair with who. They would also know that John's having a barbecue next weekend. Not because John has been in the store, but his neighbour, Ethel, had already been by to buy some meat for John's barbecue. That is literally how Facebook works. The internet. How are you? My name is Ming Johansson. For those of you that don't know me, although I see a lot of familiar faces from startup, I am a marketer. I run a marketing organisation called Marketing Jumpstart. I've been in marketing for the last 10 years. I've been in sales for even longer. I'm also an ambassador for mental health, so I work with Are You OK as an ambassador. I'm an ambassador for the Social Media Marketing Institute. I'm on the board for the Australian Computer Society. I do a lot. I'm very busy. I need some more sleep. That would be nice. And also I suffer from PTSD anxiety disorder. I'm saying that not for anybody who feels sorry for me, but more for the one person that's in this room that needs to hear it. So why I'm invested about marketing and scaling and e-commerce is I'm a child of the internet. So I grew up in the 80s. The internet kind of came out then. And my parents were rubbish. So the internet basically raised me, essentially. The other thing is the internet gives an incredible amount of opportunity for people to grow their business. I'm a perfect example of that. So when I was 17, I was homeless. I now have a business where I employ 6 people as of the middle of last year, which is kind of terrifying. And also I really love the fact that the internet allows to create opportunities for people that are scrappers like me. So before we dive in, I want to ask a couple of questions of the room. Can I show a raise of hands of how many people are actively using social media? So I mean Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for their advertising in their business. So hands. Awesome. How many people are using influencers? 3. Cool. Interesting. And how many people are on LinkedIn? Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Mel. So, the biggest thing about growing a business and scaling online is making sure that, especially with the internet, you're making data-driven decisions. You can measure everything. How many people actually look at their analytics? Half the room. It's okay. I'm not judging. It's fine. But your reports help drive your decisions for the future. This is John Capos, otherwise known as Chocolate Johnny. He's our client and he's also a very good friend of mine. He runs a chocolatier in Sydney. Now he has, in the middle of last year, heading into Easter, same time we are now, COVID hit. So he is a 3rd generation chocolatier. They've been running their business for 80 years in a physical store, bricks and mortar. He actually hadn't really made many sales on his website at all. And so the opportunity that was provided by COVID was to demonstrate that his website was fine. He didn't need to rebuild it, actually, which was the original conversation that we had. He just needed to send people there. So we ran an advertising account. Is that right? Yeah. So in 2 weeks we made him $4,000 that he'd never made before off his website. Now that doesn't sound like a lot to some people in the room. To other people that's like $4,000, cool, sweet. For him, that meant he could keep employing his people even though the doors were closed. And that was a pretty terrifying prospect for him. This was Christmas. The previous Christmas, he'd made 1 sale. So it all works. All the buttons on the internet work. The importance of measuring is that not everything works. This was a Boxing Day sale. It failed. It was the worst thing we've ever done. I'm going to admit the mistakes that we made, but what we did was we created a benchmark and we learned from it. When you're running advertising campaigns, when you're running campaigns on the internet, create your benchmarks first. Don't go nuts and go, oh my God, I'm going to make $1 million. Doesn't work. Also, the internet's not the field of dreams. It's not a, if you build it, they will come. It's like the worst movie. Big part of my job is SEO. Admittedly, we proactively told people that we didn't want to do that. Turns out we were doing it anyway. So there's a couple of things, especially for the e-com guys in the room. Make sure your product descriptions are not half-assed. I hear laughs. I hear you. It gives you the opportunity for you to be found. Google looks for evidence that you're real, and part of the evidence that you're real is time on site. So the percentage of people that will never come back to your website is called a bounce rate. We found this out quite by accident 10 years ago. We had created such a following on our social media that by the time people got to our website, they were loyal. And so they would spend 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes on our website. What that meant was it reduced our bounce rate to 2%, which for most SEO people is unheard of. This is one of my favourite sites. It's not mine. I take no credit for it at all. It's called Disc Plates. I don't know if anybody's ever seen them. They're these metal plates that stick on the wall through magnets, which is great because I've just bought a house and I hate putting hooks up. Awesome product description. Gives a lot of detail. Gives customers satisfaction and security in their purchase. Gives them useful information. So content is still king. Social media is his queen. This is a report from a website where we started doing blog content for them. The line below was their traffic before we started. The report above is the comparison report for the year after. Giving people meaningful information on your website. For the e-com guys, finding information or blogs or articles adjacent to the products that you're selling. So like the chocolatier, recipes. Yeah. Remember that time when there was no toilet paper? There's a nice big peak there. So normal behaviour, abnormal behaviour, opportunity. 10 things to do with toilet paper rolls, because people definitely have them. So I really, again, this is Displate. They sent me a video advertising in my newsfeed. They retargeted me. It was brilliant. I was not creeped out at all. And it was a little video of a bunch of men to 80s music. So good. Dancing around their little factory, making little displays. Their attention to detail was perfect. They knew what age demographic I was because I'd given them my birthday, of course. They knew what music I would attune to. I 100% have spent more money with them. Remember that Facebook and Google are not the internet. Do not rely on just your social media to do the job. We will be talking about that later. The opportunity that you have for your social media, for the internet, is to create multiple touch points. You can create a relationship over a very short amount of time with people by touching them on every single social media platform with a different message. And one of the things I want to point out about social media is it's actually not new what they're doing. And I relate it to the butcher shop in the 1940s. So the butcher shop in the 1940s would know everybody down that street and everybody down that street and everybody down that street. They would know the names of your children. They would know who was playing hooky from school and who was having an affair with who. They would also know that John's having a barbecue next weekend. Not because John has been in the store, but his neighbour, Ethel, had already been by to buy some meat for John's barbecue. That is literally how Facebook works. It's not new. Instead of it being a butcher, It's an algorithm. That's it. That's me. Yeah. Thanks, guys.